I'm in the Main Street Arena. I'm going to try to get an interview with the curling club or the brush ball club, whatever they call it. But this caught my eye. It's a Zamboni. And if I'm correct, what it does is it just lays down a hot layer of water on top of ice that has already been used. And it takes out the scuffs and the cuts. It prepares the surface for the next event coming along. So since I'm easily amused, I think you can see the steam coming up from behind the machine there. That's the Zamboni. That's what you see during the different periods in ice hockey. The sights and sounds of Charlottesville. Okay, here we go about curling.
Hi, my name is Jeff Decker. I'm here at the Main Street Arena in downtown Charlottesville. And just a few years ago, this arena started a curling league. So it's the Main Street Arena. And these are 4 curling sheets, each lengthwise. You throw the rock from one circle down to the far end of the arena to the other circle. Those are the scoring areas, and they're known as the house. We don't call these curling rinks because the rink is actually a team. But what this gentleman is doing right here is actually sprinkling the ice. In curling we call that pebbling. What it does is, of course, instantly freezes onto the ice. So that gives it a texture of pebbles, frozen pebbles on the ice. This allows these stones that are made of granite, and they're all exactly the same. They're 40 pounds, smoothed out granite. And what happens here is that when you put a spin, clockwise or counterclockwise, as it goes down the ice, that is what causes it to curl. It actually picks up friction from the pebbles that are on the ice. So you can, in fact, if you just look down the ice here, go from left to right or right to left, depending on how much curl you put on the rock. The reason that you see people, and you will see people, sweep using a broom in front of the rock as it goes down the ice is this does 2 things. It will make the rock, what the sweeping actually does is literally melt the pebbles on the ice. It heats up the ice and the pebbles melt. Now they'll come back as different kinds of pebbles, so the ice changes over the course of a game. But nonetheless, it does in fact heat up the ice, and that allows, one, the rock to go farther. So if you think the rock's going to stop short of your intended target, you're going to want to have it, sweep the ice. So you might get an extra 10, 15 feet out of the shot. And then secondly, it will curl less. So if the curl that you put on it and your aim is to basically go from left to right, let's say where you think the curl might be 10 feet from left to right, sweeping will actually reduce that perhaps by half. In other words, it'll just take the curl right out of it. So there are numerous instances in which, the person who's holding the broom, putting down the aim, is yelling for his teammates to sweep, sweep, sweep. That means that we need this thing to not curl as much. The shot's been missed, or I missed the aim, something's not going right, it's not quite the right weight, what we say in curling, weight, heavy or light. And so that's what the purpose of sweeping is. I know it looks a little silly to people, but it has a very important purpose. And it's very significant, the changes that sweeping can make. As far as the scoring is concerned, each team has 4 players, and each player throws 2 rocks, always in the same order, per end or inning, really. So 8 rocks per team, and the blue outside ring there, up to the center, it's scored. I'm trying to think of a sport that's similar, but nonetheless, only one team can score per end or inning. So whoever is closest to the very center of that circle will automatically score 1. If that same team, yellow or red, has the second closest stone, they would score a 2nd point. If the other team has the 3rd closest stone, then that's the end of the scoring. In that scenario, one team would score 2.
And how many innings?
Typically in league play there's 8, and in tournament play there's 10. But here, in this upstart league here in Charlottesville, we're just playing 4 because there's limited facilities and actually a lot of teams that want to play. So what they do is it's either an hour or 4 ends, whichever comes first. So it is timed. One game should start pretty soon at 8 o'clock. The next round would be 9 o'clock. But typically in league play throughout the country and in Canada and so forth throughout the world, it's 8 ends in league play.
And what's the name of the organization?
But this right here is really just the Main Street Arena. It is this.
If somebody wanted to get more information,
they would go to mainstreetarena.com, and I cannot remember exactly what the website. You have to look that up. I think it's MAINST Arena. So it's not all spelled out Main Street Arena. It is mainstarena.com. But look it up, and you can join Curling League, and they'll have another one starting in the winter.
All right, one
Probably
last question
January.
before you guys get going here. I noticed the beer glasses are plastic.
Yeah, beer isn't so much a problem spilling on the ice because the Zamboni will take care of that. But and in fact, it might even give more pebbles. But yeah, glass we don't want.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot, Jeff.
All right.
I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to
Enjoy curling.
see that thing curl. Jeff was talking about pebbling, and if I can get in there, you can see what it looks like. And the stone rides on the pebbles. And of course, if the broomer is sweeping and it's tending to melt the pebbles, you would have less friction and the stone would curl less or curve, the path would curve less, or it would go further. So we're going to stick around and see this sport in action.